future in life. Love is light, must be very shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, love the dawn of a new day. Bring understanding and love. Oh, inside.
Hello.
Inside, yeah. Inside, inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future and life.
Guys, let's share. I'm sharing.
Love is light, must be
Hello.
shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh,
Wendolina, thanks for joining. I see you.
inside.
Hello, Marcos, how are you?
Inside.
So I'm just gonna play the music and wait for people to join in. Thank you guys, I see you. Eve Love, I see you. Oldie Lady, thanks for joining. Shante, I see you. Akosua. Charles, they go. Thanks for joining. Bishop Remy, I see you. Let's share to our friends. Team A Agnes, I see you. Of a new day,
Bring understanding and love.
oh, inside,
Inside,
all around me,
yeah. Inside,
I trust we are good.
inside.
It's been a wonderful day,
Hope and make you
a
feel
busy day, but thank God. Yeah. Bishop Remy, thanks for joining. I see you. Elmira here, thank you for joining. I see you. Good evening. Greetings to you as well, Bishop Remy. Let's help share the live, please. I see you. Thank you. Dawit, I see you. Thank you for liking the live, Bishop Remy. Thank you so much. Oh, Shishani, thanks for joining. Let's share to our friends to be part of this talk today. Omar Bertie, I see you. Thank you. Thank you for joining the live. Omar, do me a favor and share to everyone on your list. Thank you. Thank you for liking the live.
The promise, the future, and life. Love is light, must be very
Chapo, I see you. Thanks for joining.
Light, let the dawn of a new day.
Sapi, I see you.
Standing and love.
Thank you for joining. You're welcome. Let's share the live. Let's take the light off as well, so we have other people be part of this talk. I'm gonna be kicking off very soon. Stressless. Oh, it's good to be stressless. You're welcome. Thank you. Asata, I see you. Yes, another Thursday. We're here today. This is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, I ought to rejoice. We ought to rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for joining, Asata. I see you. Age Man 92, you're welcome. Yes, let's share the live. Let's invite more friends. Gomsa, I see you. Gomsa Bopa TV. Hello, hello, hello. Once again, welcome to Inside with FunmiRoyal. Today, Thursday, the 13th of June, 2024. Amanda 826, I see you. Thanks for joining. Let's share the live and invite more friends to be part of the talk today. Today, we always discuss things related or issues related with marriage and relationships. So, guys, you are welcome today. Nice to see you. I hope your week has been good. Mine has been busy, ups and downs here and there, but here we are. I still had to come here. Denise Mortar, thanks for joining. Denise, do me a favor. Let's share to about 20 people to be part of this talk today. Cutie baby. Cutie baby. Thanks for joining. Let's like the live. Let's share to our friends so that people can enjoy this talk today. Another interesting aspect of marriage and relationship that I'm going to be talking about today. Like I said, we ought to be enjoying our marriages and not enduring. We need to enjoy our marriage relationship and not enduring. And 1,000,001 things can affect our relationships, but we cannot afford to just fold our arms and just, let things slide, because it might damage the relationship altogether. Adama, I see you. So when we talk about these things here, over the past few weeks, people would come, share their experiences, share their submission on the topic. We learn from one another. Here we keep it simple and real. It's all about positive vibes. Oma Julie, I hope I pronounced that well. You're welcome. Julie, thanks for joining. So I'm not going to waste much of our time today. I'll just go straight into the talk. And whilst you're listening, let us self-reflect, because I'm not just coming here to do all this talk. I want to help us, even inclusive of myself, to kind of self-reflect. How can I do better in this relationship? What can I do better to improve my marriage relationship with my spouse, And it's always good to self-reflect. Most times we kind of point fingers, your fault, your. When is it our fault? Do we actually consider that whatever's going on could be our fault as well? So let us self-reflect. User 50117, I see you. Thanks for joining. Let's share this live to all our friends. Let's have more people on Insight today. So the topic before me today is marriage a learning institution? Is marriage a learning institution? That is our topic for today, and it's one of the multifaceted topic. Is marriage a learning institution? We need to talk about this, because some people go into a marriage relationship with all sort of different ideas, different notion, different backgrounds to it. Lennox, you're welcome. So we'll break it down today, and when I finish the talk, as usual, I'd like you to come up. What's your take on this topic? Is marriage a learning institution? I want to hear what your take is on it. If you have experiences you want to share, if you have things you want to share with us, because like I say, I learn from you, you learn from me, we learn from one another, and it's all positive vibes here. We try to, as much as possible, accommodate everyone with their submission. So I'll go into the talk. Marriage is often viewed through various lenses. Some see it as partnership, a commitment. Some see it even as a legal contract. Some see it as a bond of love. However, one of the most profound ways to understand marriage is to see it as a dynamic learning institution. Dynamic, I didn't say static. Dynamic learning institution where continuous growth, adaptation, and education would occur. So, with that introduction, it should give you some sort of ideas what my submission is on the topic. Is marriage a learning institution? So let's give it some more flesh, Introduction to marriage as a learning institution. Stray kids, I see you. So when we consider marriage as a learning institution, we recognize it as a lifelong journey of personal and mutual development. Some of us or some people might end up being in a marriage relationship for 20 years, 30 years, 60 years. Coco, you're welcome. Some even for 70. I mean, I don't know, I haven't Googled to see the world record holder to a marriage relationship, the longest lasting marriage relationship. How many years was it? I don't know. Maybe if you're able to Google it right now, please share with us on here. However, let's invite other people to be part of Insight with FunmiRoyal today. Interesting topic. Is marriage a learning institution? Bisola, you're welcome. So, it's a space where individuals learn about themselves, their partners, the world around them. So we can outrightly look out and say, I don't think it's a marriage institution, because if you marry in your 20s or even 30s, you're still growing, in life, in career, in every aspect. And now doing it in a marriage institution, you still have to learn and grow some more. So I personally believe that it is. However, we're all entitled to one opinion or the other. I want to hear what your opinion is about. So it helps us to learn more about ourselves, about our partners, and the world around us altogether. So this perspective shifts our focus from the romantic idea of happily ever after. When they say they got married and they lived happily ever after. Is that really true? Happily ever after, to a more realistic and enriching view of of ongoing personal growth and relationship enhancement. So let us think for a second. What were your main ideas of marriage when you were planning to go into it? Or if you're already planning right now to go into it, what's your idea about marriage? Is it, yes, it's going to be a bed of roses, happily ever after? Or what's your take on that? I'd love to hear from you. Like I said, is marriage a learning institution? Thank you guys for sharing the live. Let's keep sharing to our friends to be part of this. We always learn. Every week we learn. Vivian, I see you. So the education aspect of marriage that I can point out really tonight, there's quite a few that I'll talk about, and there's always many, but for time I have to limit the ones I'm going to share here today. So education in terms of educational aspect of marriage. So self-awareness and professional growth. Personal growth. Maybe we'll come to professional later. So you need to understand yourself. Understanding oneself. How do you understand yourself? Once upon a time, you were a single person and now you're married. Are you still understanding yourself, or you are lost in that relationship? You just want to understand your spouse and neglecting yourself? All of those things we need to consider. For the fact that we're now married does not mean the end of our individual lives, okay? So marriage often challenges individuals to look inward and understand their own strengths, their weaknesses, their fears, and their desires. Because in as much as both of you are in love with each other, you have so many things in common, of course you're going to have a lot of things that you don't have in common as well. Your strength might not be their strength. Your weakness might not be their weakness. What you're afraid of might not be what they're afraid of. Nana, you're welcome. So this self-awareness is very crucial aspect of personal growth. And you'll be amazed that whilst you're in that marriage relationship, your growth is something you never thought would happen to you. It might be a kind of growth that you never expected. And then maybe you're the type, your friends before, when you were single, they'll look at you like you're just a joker, you're not a serious person. And now you find out that you're married now, and there's this maturity that has come with the growth you're experiencing. And the so-called friend will come and say, wow, you sound so mature. The way you're talking, the way you're seeing things, so that can bring about growth because you're in that marriage relationship. So is marriage a learning institution? I want to hear from you. Jesus' child, I see you. So we need self-awareness, and it's a very crucial aspect of our personal growth whilst we're in a marriage relationship. Like I said, I'm looking at the educational aspect of marriage, since the topic is marriage a learning institution? Okay. Personal development, I mentioned that through the support and feedback of a partner, individuals can pursue personal goals and aspirations, developing skills and qualities they might not have done so otherwise. So sometimes it might take your husband or your wife to identify, my goodness, you're so strong at this skill, or you're so strong at this thing. And from there can birth a lot of activities or profession, even, or a career, or you might even go on and pursue certain careers because of the skills your spouse has highlighted to you. Alem, you're welcome. Let's share the live. Let's share. We're not too let's touch on the buttons and just share to all our friends to be part of this live talk today. Another aspect of the educational aspect of marriage as a learning institution is emotional intelligence. Oh my goodness. You're emotionally intelligent before, yeah? Because you were single. You mingle with friends, colleagues, what have you. But now you're in a marriage relationship. Hey. Your emotional intelligence will have to double up. Will have to triple up, if I may say. Word inside, I see you. Empathy and understanding. Oh my goodness. You will be tested and tried on another level. I used to say, oh, I think I'm the most patient person in the world. What have you? At some point, I was almost doubting how patient I was, because you will be tried. You will be tested. Queen Mary, you're welcome. So, empathy and understanding. Are you empathetic? Are you very understanding? Living closely with one person requires learning to empathize and understand their emotions, their perspective and experiences. Oh, you're welcome. Word inside, I see you. If you have empathy before, kudos to you. But you need another level when you're dealing with one person for the rest of your life. They will test that empathy. They will test that understanding. They will test your love. Not that they go out of their way intentionally to do that. Life happens and things will be tested in you. So you have to be accommodative of their experiences, their perspective, their emotions. Some people, their emotions is like yo-yo, up today, down tomorrow. And you can't just say, I'm just fed up of this, your emotion. Get a grace, get a hold of yourself. It doesn't work that way. You have to be there for your spouse, especially we women. We could be very emotional. And then, of course, when you get to a certain age, you even become more emotional, and you're trying to even understand yourself when you get to a certain age and your spouse is lost. You're lost, your spouse is even lost more than yourself. You might not be able to even explain what you're feeling. You can't put a name to it. And your spouse really must understand with you. They must be empathetic towards you. They must be tolerant towards you. Otherwise, other issues might just arise. And again, the learning aspect I'll mention again is the conflict resolution. Before, maybe you're the one that would be a mediator between friends when there's an issue, and now you're having issue with your spouse. Who is going to be the mediator? Angel, you're welcome. And then you wonder, oh, I used to know how to resolve conflict. Why is it that with this spouse, oh my goodness, I've tried my best, Maybe you're not patient enough. Maybe you're not understanding enough. Who knows? I don't know. But you will learn how to resolve conflict when you're in a marriage relationship, because it has to work. It must work. We need to enjoy our marriages, not endure. So marriage teaches crucial conflict resolution skills. You will learn that over the years, and you tend to become a pro at it. And then issues will rise up again, oh, I've been there some 5 years ago, and this was what I did, and it helped. So you're experienced. That's if you tolerant enough to learn and move past that conflict. You learn how to negotiate with your partner. Not just your way is the highway or the whatever. If not your way is the highway, or what, this saying that people say, your way or the highway or whatever. You cannot do that. In a marriage relationship, you have to learn to negotiate. You have to learn to compromise, and you have to learn to forgive. Last week we talked about forgiveness in marriage. So all of these things you will learn in your marriage relationship. Because trust me, your spouse will offend you. Your spouse will hurt you even deeply. And you have to find it in your heart to let go. You have to find it in your heart to resolve things, respectfully and all of that. These skills you will learn, they are vital in your life, and not just in your marriage relationship, in all areas of your life. Because when you learn to be more tolerant of your spouse, you might just acquire some skills that will let you be more tolerant of that colleague who's always getting on your nerves, if you get what I mean. So it benefits you in your marriage as well as other aspects of your life. Again, communication, learning. Remember, we're talking about the educational aspect of a marriage institution. The topic, if you're just joining in, is marriage a learning institution? And you can tell from my talk that I'm leaning towards a particular direction. Thank you guys. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you so much for liking the live. I really appreciate that. So communication skills, effective communication. Maybe you're the type when you were single and spinster, you talk and talk, anyone talk, you always talk your way out, you think you're the best communicator and all that, and then here comes this spouse. There's nothing you say, oh my goodness, you cannot win in an argument. You cannot just put a word in. So effective communication, you have to learn that skills. In fact, you will learn it as you journey on in your marriage relationship. Couples learn how to communicate their needs, especially your spouse. You have to speak their language, so you have to learn to communicate with them with their language. Okay, all right, what is us? I'll see you in a jiffy, like you said. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So you have to learn how to understand our desires and concerns effectively, not maliciously. Okay, so these are things you will learn. Effective communication, it comes to all of that. This involves not just speaking but also active listening. If you're the type that you don't listen, you just talk, all you do is talk, you have to learn to listen, because this person is here to stay, and their perspective, they're not giving up on that. They want you to understand, and they need you to understand that. So you have to be skilled enough in your communication to not just be able to communicate effectively, but to listen. I'm not saying hear them, listen, because sometimes you hear your spouse but you're not listening. You just hear somebody's talking, but you're not listening. And then when it's time for you to respond, you're like, oh sorry, what did you say? Oh my god, that could be annoying. So you have to learn effective communication, and that is in the marriage institution. Another one is the non-verbal communication. My goodness, I love this. It kind of bonds couple together, especially when they talk about it, maybe whilst they're relaxing, and then husband and wife will come and say, you know what, dear? Say, for example, we'll go to a party or an event and you're getting bored, or you just want us to go. Let's look for a sign that once we do the sign to one another, we know what that means, It could be, you just do that and your husband knows it's time to go, or your wife knows it's time to go. Or you just do thumbs up. Thumbs up may mean I'll be back or something like that. But you have to talk about it so that both of you can know the meaning. So non-verbal communication, understanding and interpreting non-verbal cues such as your body language or facial expressions enhances mutual understanding. And to be honest with you, this kind of bonds couple together. Don't overlook it. Sometimes some couples, they're just looking at each other and they're communicating, and then the people around might be wondering, what are these people doing? It's because, oh, good evening, Mr. Exceptional, nice to have you here. So you're no more a novice on Insight, you're one of us now. So thank you. I hope your day has been good. Thanks for joining. So as I was talking about the educational aspect of marriage institution, non-verbal communication, if you do two winks at your spouse, do they understand what it means? If you're in a gathering, do they understand? Would they say, "Oh, what's wrong with your eyes? Did something enter your eyes?" Like the children's will do funny in a way. So all those kind of non-verbal communications, you can build up on that. Look for body languages you can, suggest to one another, such that when you're in a crowd or you're with other people, you want to leave and there's no way the noise is too much or something, you just do your body language or the sign, and immediately your spouse gets it. Okay, it's time to go, and they go, and you guys go. So create that. It can help you, and that one you have to, is part of the learning, it's part of the teaching in the marriage. And that's why I'm asking us today, is marriage a learning institution? Miss Ferguson, I see you. Another aspect is patience and resilience. I mentioned that briefly. Overcoming challenges. So marriage often presents various challenges every day, every time, every season, every moment, from financial difficulties to health issues you never even planned for, all sort of challenges. Navigating these challenges together build resilience and patience. Like I said, builds that up. Maybe when you were newly married, you were not such a resilient person, and your spouse was just there, encouraging you, cheering you on, and all of that. Or maybe when you were newly married, everybody knows that this person is not a patient person at all. They don't have one iota of patience in them. And now you're living with your spouse. They're the most patient person you could ever, have met. And you're just, oh, all of that, everywhere. And then they're just quiet in nature, looking at you. And until you realize yourself that, just take it easy. Can't you just learn from your spouse to be calm a bit? So we can learn from our spouses certain traits, certain behaviors, positive ones, I believe. So that would help you overcome more challenges because you're more patient now. You're learning that because you're married now. That's why I say it's all about positive vibes here. What we learn from one another, let it be positive. And like I would say, I challenge couples out there, let's put out good videos about marriages. Let's, counter the negativity out there about marriages and all. I know it's not all bed of roses, but there's still good that happens in marriages. Let's promote that. Let's be the one to promote that so that they are up and coming, would see videos to encourage them, and they would learn from as well. So overcoming challenges, you learn, the difficult issues of life. Now you have a partner in crime, not in crime, and you deal with things together. In case you don't have enough patience, your spouse have more than enough patience to rub off on you and things like that. And then look at the long-term perspective. Like I said, marriage is till death do you part. Or that should be the thing anyways. Marriage encourages a long-term perspective, teaching couples to think beyond immediate gratification and work towards enduring solutions. So some things may happen. Some people say, oh, is what you want to gain now. Yes, cause this negativity stories flying in the social media platforms are scaring our youths. I know, Mr. Exceptional, it's amazing. Don't even get me started. That's why we need to help chip in and change that narrative, because marriage is a beautiful thing. And like I said in weeks past, God created marriage. Marriage is that institution that, can you imagine, you get the certificate before you even go to the school? Who does that? We all know other institutions, you have to go in there, learn, do the exam, pass, before they give you certificates to say, okay, well done. But imagine the marriage certificate, you get it, and then you now go into the institution, meaning they've trusted you that you're good, you're okay to go into that marriage, and yet we see people, treating each other anyhow and all of that. Let's not even go into the gory details. So thank you, Mr. Exceptional, for that submission, really. But I'll still need us to come into the box and shed more light on that. So again, you have to be someone who is thinking of the long term, benefits to whatever you're doing, not just what you will get now. What if in the future is going to backfire? So you learn that. You learn that it's not just about you now, it's about your spouse, your children's future, and all of that. So when you're thinking, when you're deciding, when you're doing stuff, you put all of that into perspective, not just instant or immediate gratification. Richie Rich, see you. Good evening to you. I sight you there. So we need to think beyond that, and we learn that in marriage. Your spouse, like I said, can rub off on you. Another one I'll mention finally on this is teamwork and partnership. Teamwork and partnership, fine at work you might have a teammate, you might be a partner to someone in a business, but we all know that when we're talking about marriage institution, it's a different ball game. You will die for your spouse, so anyone touching your spouse, they'll have to go through you. All those. I love it when maybe a wife or husband will stand in front, maybe there's an issue, and he say, you know what, you want to touch my husband, you have to go through me. I love it when that happens. Or they say, you want to touch my wife, you dear, whilst I'm here, if you touch my wife, all of that, defending their spouse is so beautiful. You can see that they're in sync, they're together, looking out for one another. So teamwork and partnership, talking about educational aspect of a marriage institution. Shared goals, couples learn to set and work towards shared goals, whether they are related, family, finances, or personal achievement. They sit down and talk about things. Okay, where do we see ourselves in the next 5 years, whatever. I know life would happen in between, but we're there to support one another and encourage one another, to hold on or hang on or don't give up, be resilient. We're there to prop each other up positively, not negatively. Not when one spouse does something or is a mistake and you're not like, aha, I told you so. I told you so. No, we don't want to do that. You're not sounding empathetic towards your partner when you do that. If you must, say it in your mind. Don't say it out because it will hurt when they hear that. Tenario, I see you. So be mindful. Your shared goals, the way you behave in your family, even your finances. You talk about your finances together. If you want to start saving towards a particular thing, you sit down and talk about it and plan towards it. That is what you can do in that institution as well. Nobody's got your back like your spouse. That should be the ideal thing anyways. So shared goals, talk about them to kind of achieve them together, learn how to achieve in that together. And then collaborative decision making. You might say, oh, well, some culture believe that a man is the head of the home. He takes all the decisions. He does this, and all that. No, where does that leave your spouse, your wife, your husband? Where does that leave them? Or because you feel you're the one making the most money, you should be the one to dictate how this home is run. There's so many bad notions out there that will destroy a marriage if care is not taken. So I'm talking about collaborative decision making. These are things you will learn in a marriage relationship, marriage institution. Making decisions together from everyday choices to major life changes. This will foster a sense of partnership and mutual respect. There shouldn't be anyone that is seen as a lesser vessel or what have you. We're supposed to be teammates. We're supposed to be each other's buddies, if I may put it that way. Of course, there's certain things that it's still the man that would do it, but the woman has to know, because you can't just go and keep doing stuff on behalf of your wife or the children or whatever, and they don't have a clue. Imagine somebody calls your wife now, because you're the man handling all of the things, and somebody just calls your wife, oh, by the way, this and this and this and that. And you're thinking, what on earth are they talking about? Your husband didn't mention anything. Your husband didn't, and then you're wondering. Imagine that kind of situation. It embarrasses you, and sometimes you might just have to pretend and go along like you know what they're talking about, but most times you don't even have a clue. We shouldn't leave our partners in limbo, leave them guessing and assuming what is not. It's not healthy for that relationship. So we need to collaboratively make decisions, talk about things. And eventually, if it's still the man that will decide eventually, at least you've talked about it with your wife, and she understands whatever decision you make, she will stand by you instead of just coming and saying, okay, that's it, this is done, that's done. And she's just wondering, okay, is this how we're going to do things in this family? So let's be mindful. Let's do things such that it will foster a sense of partnership and mutual respect. God will help us, to be honest with you. So another stage I'm going to be talking about in terms of is marriage learning institution. So the stages of learning in marriages, it varies. There's no particular order other than maybe number of years, and as you spend time together, you get more skills, more knowledge, more growth, more maturity, and all of that. But overall, really, there's about 3 stages to learning in a marriage relationship. And the first stage is what I call the early stage, where you have adjustment and adaptation. Newlyweds learn to adjust to living together. I think I heard a pastor one time, he was saying when he newly got married. It was so funny. He said when he newly got married, all of a sudden he would turn in his room. There's one woman there. What is this woman? Oh, she's my wife. And then he forgot himself. Maybe he was getting hot. He pulled his shirt and he saw a woman and he covered. Oh, sorry, it's my wife. Mentally, he's not in the marriage yet or fully. So the early stage newlyweds, merging your routines, understanding each other's habits and preferences. I remembered anytime walking the right side or the left side, get up and go round about to go toilet and all that. So let me just stay on the bedside that is closer to the toilet. So he knows anytime we enter a room, we know who is sleeping where. There's no doubt about it. So now imagine he's the one, he first would lay on the bed and I'll be like, that's my side. And he's like, what do you mean is your side? This is a hotel. Nobody owns it. And we start arguing. No, we need to talk about things. Sometimes we might feel it's silly, but it can create problems when we don't talk about it. So we shouldn't assume. So newlyweds, that's the early stage. The learning to adjust and adapt to this new routine. There's a man sharing my room now. There's a woman sharing my room now. Oh my goodness. It takes getting used to and of course understanding each other's habits. God help you, your partner snores or doesn't, or they have some habits that because before it's only you in your room, you sleep and you're okay. Now you have to accommodate this person and you're wondering, hey, what have I gotten myself? I'm just kidding. So let's learn to adapt and adjust to each other's habits and preferences, building that foundation. This stage is about establishing a strong foundation of trust, communication, and mutual respect. Thank you so much. For one another. So that early stage is like, imagine you want to build a house. You get the land, you've gotten the land, which is your spouse, and then you want to start building. You have to start from the foundation. You can't just start building on the roof. You just bring the roof and let it hang and then you want to start building the way down. No, we always build up. So building that foundation, it requires a lot of trust, a lot of communication, and mutual respect. If you don't share things, if you don't talk about things, you can't just sit down and be assuming this is what your spouse likes, this is what they don't like, because you might never assume right, and it might create chaos because you're acting based on false assumptions. So ask each other, talk about things, build that trust. For newlywed, that's the first stage of learning in the marriage institution. And then the second stage is called middle stage. I call that middle stage. Kirsty, thanks for joining. So that middle stage, what happens in the middle stage is growth and expansion. This will be, of course, years into the marriage. Not too young like the newlyweds, but not too old as well, just gradually building. So couples often face significant changes during this stage, such as career advancement, raising children, and buying a home. Learning to grow and expand together is very crucial. So that middle stage is when, the children start coming in. That's another transition by itself that husband and wife need to learn, because once upon a time it's just the two of you. You don't wake up to feed no baby. You just do and go. Everybody goes their way, come back at whatever time you come back, and you're good. But now there are children involved. You have to go on maternity leave for the woman. The man will get paternity leave, but we all know how long it is for. Sir Bobby, I see you. Thanks for joining. Thanks so much for joining. To those just joining, the topic today is marriage a learning institution? And I usually will give my talk in case you're a first timer here as well. I'll give the talk, and after I finish, I'll invite as many people to come and share their own opinion about the topic. Let's rub minds together. So I'm talking about the middle stage in a marriage relationship. So changes come up. It could be a career you're pursuing, and now you're in that middle stage. Finally, you're able to get it. It will change your routine. You need to kind of understand that routine. Your spouse needs to understand that routine. Otherwise, arguments might come up. Conflicts might come up. Why is it that you have to go into work every time and you always come back late? When you pick up a new career and practicing, it requires your time building with all of that. And then after a while, once you're the master of that thing, you learn to balance it with time and all of that. So your spouse needs to understand that at this phase of this career change, you need to put in the effort. And it's not something they'll be fighting you all the time. Why is it? It's only you, that means they're not understanding the phase you're in. So let's talk about things at every stage, carrying each other along. Let your spouse ask questions when they're not sure about that stage you're in. And don't feel like, why are you asking me this question? What do you mean that? No, please, let's explain to them. So that way they have a better understanding and they can be supportive. Learning to grow and expand together is very crucial. Grow together. Don't leave your spouse behind. I remembered weeks back I was sharing somebody, you married them, they only have a master's holder. Whilst you're in the marriage, they pursue their PhD and all of that, and you're just there with your BSc or whatever in terms of educational growth now. And then you find out that your PhD husband, when anytime is going for an event, even if they say you can bring your spouse, they don't want to go with you. They feel you're of low class to them. No. Who does that? We don't do that in marriage. If you don't want that to happen, make sure you encourage your spouse to probably further their education, go for their master's or PhD if they want. But if they don't, regardless, they're still your spouse. Treat them with respect. If you're going to that function outside, take them along. They will dress the part. Please don't look down on your spouse just because they are not qualified as you, or they don't have that degree like you do. That shouldn't change who you are, living with. Please, let's not do that. Then balancing individual and shared identity, maintaining personal identities whilst nurturing a shared life is a key learning aspect during that middle stage. What I've just explained to you. So you have your individual growth you're going through in that marriage, and you have a collective growth you're going through in that marriage. Individual marriage could be like the career I mentioned, and individual prospects or whatever ideas, like the career, pursuing a profession or what have you. But we're not talking about a collective shared responsibility in terms of now they're babies. Some will say, because the woman gave birth to the child is the woman's responsibility alone. No, the father is also there to help from time to time. You cannot breastfeed a child, I get it, but you can pacify the baby and let the mother rest a while. So these things, that transition, you have to do that together. It's not just on the woman because she gave birth to a child. That will not foster love, in that marriage or growth either. So the last stage in terms of the educational aspect that I'm talking about, the learning stages in marriage, is the later stage. That's where you're counting the TTs, 30s, 40 years in marriage. The later stage, that is navigating life's transitions. or from the early stage to the middle stage, acquiring skills, knowledge, understanding. That's why I see marriage as a learning institution. That's my own take. I don't know what you have to say, but I'll hear from you in a moment. Maintaining personal navigating life's transitions, like I said, retirement. You get to that stage of retiring in your 60s, mid 60s, empty nesting when all the children are gone. It's just you. That is the later stage of a marriage relationship or a marriage institution. And of course, aging. All of that, retirement, empty nesting, aging, are transitions that require learning and adaptation. So that's why I'll say this now, let you know. Please come closer and listen. If you're not friends with your spouse in the early stage, in the middle stage, all of a sudden you find yourself in the later stage, and now you're looking at your spouse like one stranger. Like, I don't even know this person I've been living with all the while. Now there's no more children to yell at or to look after, whatever. They're all gone. So it's just you and your husband, you and your wife. And you're wondering, I don't know this person. So make sure that the early stage, the middle stage, you're bonding. You're bonding, you're talking about things, making memories together. Because when you get to the later stage, when you're retired and that age, whatever it is in your country, you need each other to be each other's bestie, friend, confidant, supporter, all of those things. But if you haven't done that in the early stage, the middle stage, and now in the later stage, you just want that, I wonder what you will get. So let's be mindful, because that transition will come, and it requires you've learned a lot of things, you've adapted to a lot of things to get to that later stage, and also calls for reflecting and reconnecting. Now there's just two of you, so this stage often involves reflecting on the shared journey. That's when grandchildren will come and you will tell them stories from when you were much younger, back in the days, and all of that. You share that journey together so that you can have something to share with your children and your grandchildren. Reconnecting and finding new ways of enjoying each other's company in that later stage of marriage. Okay? Maybe when we get there, I think I'm still in the middle stage of my marriage. When we get to the later stage, I'm dragging my husband. We're going to go and play bingo. I'm telling you. I hope he's not hearing me now. So there's so many things you can do in that later stage. You can pick up a new hobby, new activities to do, nothing too strenuous, because you have to be mindful you're back. At that stage, later stage, be careful and all of that. But it's all good. But it starts from the early stage when you're newlyweds, to the middle stage when you start having children, and now to the later stage when you start retiring. EK Trillion, I see you. So there are some challenges and opportunities for learning. Like I always say, I like to balance things. There will be challenges, of course. Miscommunication, I will go there again. Overcoming misunderstandings, learning to clarify and resolve communications is an ongoing process. It never stops, guys. It never stops. Nobody says, you know what? This whole month of June, I'm not talking. I'm not communicating. You know what? Just look at me and know what I want to do or what, and just, it doesn't work like that. You have to keep talking. You have to keep expressing. You have to keep sharing and all of that. Otherwise, and there will be chaos. There will be all sorts in there. Tani Mola, I see you. Thanks for joining. So you have to overcome any misunderstandings. You have to clarify, resolve any miscommunication. It is an ongoing process. You can't stop it. So know that if you're the type that you don't like talking, please help your spouse, because they like to talk. Meet them halfway, so that there'll be peace in that home. Then continuous improvement. Couples can continually improve their communication skills through workshops, counseling, and self-help resources. So there's a lot of, avenues where you can help yourself. Sometimes, couples are speaking and it's like they're speaking different languages to themselves, though they're speaking the same language, but somebody's not just understanding the other person. Sometimes you might need to get help, some self-help books or videos. There's a lot now you can watch on YouTube, how to connect with my spouse, how to talk to my spouse, all sorts. is on there. And that's why social media has its good part. That was the topic on Monday, by the ways. Shady, I see you. So, deferring expectations, this will come. You have to align your goals. Learning to align individual and shared goals can prevent conflict and foster unity. Like I said, you have to be understanding towards one another. Some might even say, when I met you, you didn't give me the impression that you were going to pursue this career or do this profession or something. But now, yeah, they're here now, they're married to you, and this is what their passion is about now. You know, we have goals, aspirations, and all of that, and some of it changes over time. And that time, you're just a married person. It shouldn't change your goals, your dreams. So instead of fighting your spouse like, when I met you, this wasn't the case, I never saw this, just try to understand where they're at and appreciate them and support them. And sometimes I'll say, if you can't support them, just leave them to it so that there won't be chaos at home, there won't be conflicts. Okay, so we need to foster that unity by understanding our shared goals as well as our individual goals. Then managing expectations. Understanding and managing differing expectations is very crucial for a harmonious relationship. Hey, you have to learn to compromise, you have to learn to tolerate one another, and that way you can have a harmonious relationship. Otherwise, there'll be conflicts all the time, there'll be arguments all the time. You need to compromise. Yeah, that's the word. Learn to compromise with your spouse, because you always cannot have your way, they always cannot have their way. So you have to reach a consensus, you have to reach an agreement in order for there to be harmony in your home. Carla, I see you. External pressures as you grow in that marriage institution. Remember, we said we're learning in there, but you have some challenges, like I said. External pressures will come. So supporting each other, learning to support each other through external pressures, such as career challenges or family issues, extended family, don't get me started with that, can help strengthen the marital bond when you support each other through. Because sometimes a spouse can gang up with their own extended family to fight their spouse. We don't do that. It's not healthy, no matter what it is. This is your person now. If your family, your extended family cannot understand that your wife comes first, your husband comes first, it's a shame, really. It's a shame. Extended family should not come in there. You're trying to build a home, you're trying to support one another, and they're putting all these pressures on you. How well can you build when there's so much pressure? So if you're the extended family, please leave this couple alone to build their lives. Pray for them, support them from afar. You don't have to be in their business all the time. You go visiting, then you notice you're giving my brother 2 pieces of meat, and you're having 3 pieces of meat. And all those things that is none of your business, you just keep poke-nosing and all of that. Please, let's be good extended family members. Please, we're begging. So also building a support network. Couples can benefit from building a network of friends, families, and professions who provide support and guidance. Sometimes you might go on couples retreats with other couples just to relax, get to bond some more and all that. And it could be a profession. If you find yourself doing the same profession as your spouse, you can rub off on each other as well as other couples as well. So build that support network, positive support network, not just any network, because if care is not taken, you just find yourself in the wrong set of groups, so to say. So even for family members that you bring around you, make sure that they're the support network you have, not the one coming to create chaos in your home. So let's be mindful. I'm just about rounding up, and to those who have been listening for the last 30 minutes, please, let's self-reflect. Do we think marriage is a learning institution? And what have you learned so far? How has it benefited you? How has it helped you? How have you grown in that marriage relationship? So in conclusion, I say viewing marriage as a learning institution offers a profound and enriching perspective. Honestly, it acknowledges that marriage is not just about companionship, but about continuous growth, adaptation, and mutual education. We learn from one another. Nobody knows it all. Ernestina, you're welcome. So, by embracing this view, couples can navigate the complexities of their relationship with a spirit of curiosity, resilience, and collaboration. I said in the past, we're not supposed to fight one another, we're supposed to fight that thing out there. So, collectively, we'll fight it together, we don't fight each other. Be mindful. Marriage as a learning institution teaches us valuable life skills. It enhances personal growth and it fosters deep emotional connection with our spouse. When we're being honest, we're being truthful, we're being genuine about that relationship. So let us approach our marriages with the mindset of lifelong process, open to growth, open to changes, and a beautiful journey of learning together. Both of you be open to it. Marriage is beautiful. If we do what we're meant to do in that marriage, you will experience and enjoy it in a positive way. Ashanki, I see you. So, may our marriages be filled with love, growth, and continuous learning. Amen. I say amen. So, that's me done for today. My puzzle is going to come in a few minutes. So, my question to us after this talk today is, do you see marriage as a learning institution? And second, what have you learned so far in your marriage institution? I want to hear from you.
Inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Love is light that's preventing, shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn
I see you, Lord Official.
bring understanding and love. Oh, inside.
Oh, Omobalale, you're welcome.
Inside. All around me, yeah. Inside.
Yes, guys, I hope you're not just joining after the talk. Please tell me you've been here for the last hour. Thank you, guys. If you're just joining, you're welcome. If it's your first time, I say welcome. So, guys, I want to hear from you today. Do you think marriage is a learning institution? You might think otherwise. Please feel free to share with us and send invites. Let's hear your take on this matter. Do you think marriage is a learning institution? I want to hear from us, really. Let's rub minds together so that the young ones coming in, they will know what to look out for. They will know what to expect. It's not all bed of roses. It's not all happily ever after one another. Send an invite and let's hear your take on this topic today. Is marriage a learning institution? And what have you learned? If you're in a marriage relationship, what have you learned? What have you learned from your parents' marriage relationship? You can share that as well. Mr. Exceptional, how are you? Good evening.
Good evening, ma.
Well done. How's your day been?
I'm great, thank God.
Thank
Thank
God.
you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So you're no more a first timer. You're part of us now here on
Mhm.
Inside. Thank you so much. I don't know how much of the topic you followed. I saw you there earlier. I don't know what your take to the topic is. Before I bring my puzzle for today, Vivian. I see you, Vivian. What a way to spell your name, Vivian. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. So, Mr. Exceptional, if you have anything you want to share with us, please feel free.
Um, Thank you, ma, for the opportunity.
You're
Anyway, you've touched every aspect
well, some of it, I
of
tried,
marriage.
some of it.
Yeah, yeah, and the important points, you know, and you know that the days of our mothers and our grandmothers
Mm.
are far different from the days that we live in now.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you rightly brought out a point which they might have they overlooked, during their time of courtship, dating, and so on. They just loved each other and straight up they went into marriage. All
Mm.
right,
Yeah.
and those things are you talked about talking about every single thing, you know, talking about every single thing, not letting anything out, so that because it's a union of two persons,
Yeah.
one person can't make it work. Two,
Mm.
it has to be for it to work. It has to be the two people
Yeah.
in agreement, and
Mm-hmm.
so that makes me remember there was a wedding I attended
Mm.
back here in Nigeria,
Okay.
in a well-known ministry, Word of Life Bible Church. The man of God himself, when he was joining the couples, so and admonishing them, that was giving a brief exhortation.
Mm.
He cited out a true life story of a couple that he knew about. He said
Okay.
this was a couple after they got married. You know, um, one
Yeah.
the man. Let me just. I can't remember who was who, but let me
Mm.
say the man grew up knowing that, or grew up that shoes should be kept under the bed. All right.
Oh.
The
Okay.
lady grew up by by um, uh, by being knowing that shoes shoes should be kept at the top of um, the wardrobe or a shoe rack.
Okay.
So that caused an issue between them.
Mm.
So at the early stage of their marriage, they started arguing. Someone was talking, this is how I was brought up. The husband said, this is how also I was brought up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost cost their marriage. And it
Wow.
was a young couple. But he said something happened.
Mm.
Suddenly, the man just felt and said, "Sweetheart, oh, why are we even quarreling about this thing? See, you grew up thinking that
Mm.
shoes should be kept on top of the wardrobe, right? I grew up thinking that shoes should be kept under the bed. Whatever way is okay, please. Let's not make an issue out of it."
Mm.
So I
Mm.
brought that because little things like this have
Yeah.
caused
Yeah. Yeah.
um, breakage
Rifts in,
of
yeah,
marriage.
between husband and wife.
And
Yeah.
like you rightly said, and which it is, marriage is an institution that is um, instituted by God
Mm.
Himself,
Oh yes. Yeah.
and so therefore it is something that should be of great value and should be respected. So
Yeah.
there are things that you will definitely learn from your spouse.
Mm.
You may not, there are things you will not even know during courtship. That's the truth. During dating dating stage, during
Yeah.
courtship stage, you won't know them.
Need to
When you
just
get
move on.
into the marriage, like people always say that the marriage does not start at the wedding. The wedding is just a ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The marriage starts immediately you left the reception ground and got to your hotel or your apartment or wherever you are going to stay. That's where the
Yeah.
marriage starts, because that's the first time. The first time you may have been staying in the same house. We have situations like that, but which may not be regular. Maybe the lady visits on the weekend or wherever. But
Yeah.
once you are now staying 247, 365 days
It's
of
a
the week
different ball
per
game
second,
altogether.
you know. So things start popping out, popping up, and so you and marriage is one thing that involves adults. It's not for children. All right, it's not for children. And so,
Oh
but
no.
when those challenges come, challenges of not understanding why is your spouse doing what he or she is doing, you know, that's where you need to apply the wisdom of God, which
Yeah.
is His Word, and reach out to, no matter the misunderstanding you have about anything, you reach out to your spouse and say, sweetheart, honey, can we talk about this? This is supposed to be like this, and this is supposed to be like this. Now, you may not be able to change your spouse, because sometimes my pastor would tell us that, he was making an illustration, said the man is coming with a screwdriver or a tool. He wants to change the woman. The woman too is coming with her own instrument. I want to change the man.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. We must know that, being that is an institute that is instituted by God,
Yeah.
God owns the tools, and the power to
Yeah.
make any changes. So when you see something you may want to change, you know, in your spouse, you know, you must invite God into it. How do you invite God into it? One is by praying.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly is by sharing God's word.
He says the heart of
God's
kings,
word,
the heart of kings are
yes,
in God's hands. So he's
are
the
in
one
God's
that
hand.
can help.
Yes, yes. And so it is important we know that if you leave God out of it, it's definitely heading to the rocks.
Yeah.
It's definitely heading to the rocks, because He is the author and the finisher of our faith. And so you said something like, you were talking about when the spouse is more educated than the other spouse, you
Mm.
know, because now he or she has now become part of you. The Bible says when two comes together, they
Exactly.
become
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
So you must see yourself in your spouse. You must create that mentality.
Correct.
One of our ministers, he was talking some time ago. He said, marriage is a practical thing. He
He
said,
did.
marriage is not something you
Very much.
say, Lord, I want to love my wife, that you kneel down and say, I want to love my wife. Yes, as good as that is good. It's very good. But it's a practical thing. You have
Yeah.
to consciously love your
Mm-hmm.
wife, or you consciously love your husband. Because sometimes you may just be praying it and it may not work, you know. But it's something that you have to consciously do, because you consciously said this was the person you want to share the rest of your life with. All
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
we must know something also, that when you choose that person,
Mm.
you choose that person beyond his or her differences, you
Yeah.
know, because the person is not a perfect person. The person is not a perfect person. The person
Nobody's
may have
perfect.
some, yeah.
Except
So
for
the person may
nobody.
have one or two. Nobody is perfect. So the person may have one or two sports that you may not be okay with. But
Mm-hmm.
as you go along the line, as you carry yourself together, and you
Yeah.
talk things over with
Mm.
time, and
Yeah.
there are some things you may not be able to change.
Oh
You
yes.
just need to adapt to it with time.
Mm-hmm.
If God is will, if God, if heaven tarries, a change may just come. All right,
Yes. Even when you
a
least
change may
expect
just come,
it.
because you don't need to force it. When you force it, you are not you when you're
Mm. Oh, I hope it's not internet now. Uh, Exceptional, I stopped hearing you. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, you might have to drop off and come back. I'll bring you back on. because all that you're saying is very, very important and is very relevant as well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear me?
now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So let me just round up so that others can come in. So like the point I was trying to bring just now, you
Mm,
can't your spouse you can't relate to your spouse the way you will relate to a child.
mm,
All right.
at
You can
all.
give um, instruction, or you can command a child, you
Mm,
know, to do something, but
mm-hmm.
to your spouse is different.
It
Yes,
is.
you may sometimes give some instruction, maybe instruction of how you want your food to be prepared, but
Mm.
you can't instruct your spouse that get into the room and go and sleep. No,
Well, you can
you
try. You can try, and we'll see how far that will take you.
yeah, and we see how far that will take you. If that is the if that is the part of the road you want to tread, but
Oh.
I tell you, it won't turn out nice. And so you must now learn how to come down to the level of your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
understand he or she habits and character, the home, because where the home the person came from
Mm-hmm.
matters a lot
Oh, it does.
about he or her upbringing. So
Mm-hmm.
we must understand ourselves and now
Yeah.
know how to handle every challenge or issue that comes our way. So
Mm,
it is very, very important that we know these little things. They
mm.
are very little,
But
but you
it
know
can create a big problem.
they
Yeah.
can cause a big
Mm,
problem. And you know,
definitely.
that is the little way. That just with that little thing, Satan can
Mm,
come into your marriage and destroy it, because he knows that it's an institution that is instituted
mm-hmm.
by his creator, is instituted by God, and he
Yeah.
knows that God esteems marriage so much in his heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
marriage, the union of a man and a woman is precious to God.
It
You
is
know, and so
very.
um, let me stop here and
Thank
allow others to.
you.
Thank you so much, man, for the
Thank you
opportunity.
so much. Like you said, your submission is very relevant. Thank you so much. Before I will respond myself, Mary, it's your birthday today. Thank you so. I can't believe you're here. I wasn't even expecting you. I thought the party would be happening, all the way. But thank you so much. It really means a lot to me for you even coming today. How are you? How is the celebration going? By the way, guys, please help me wish Mary a happy birthday. Today is our birthday. Please help me wish her. Thank you so much, Mr. Exceptional. Thank you. How are you, Mary? Oh, your mouth is filled with the cake already.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you? Just too
I'm
busy trying
good.
to get ready.
Oh, okay. You said for the dinner. Hoo. I hope is an exceptional dinner tonight. Oh, thank you.
The day has been so busy, busy, busy since morning.
I can imagine. One of the things I'll ask my friends when
I've,
they celebrate, how many gray hair did you
I've
find
been
on
maybe.
Don't mind me, I'm just kidding. I know I can see the bar in your box again. I don't know what's with this network from your end. I was asking how many gray hair did you find today, being a year older or a day older or another year.
One only. Imagine.
Only one? Are you sure? Let your husband look at it, please. No, just kidding. Well, thank you so much. Before you go, I don't know if you have any submission to this topic. Is marriage a learning institution? What's your take? And if you've learned one or two things, particularly that you want to share with us as well, please.
Sorry, kind of breaking. I didn't get the question.
I said the question is marriage a learning institution? And then secondly, what have you learned in your marriage institution? Maybe there's one particular thing that you know you have learned whilst you're in marriage.
Okay, maybe to go straight to one thing that I've learned. Okay, is it one, two, three? Which one do I start
Oh,
from?
so
Which one
many.
do I start with?
So many.
So many things. Maybe the first one I can say is trying to understand one another.
Okay.
One thing that we need to know for sure is when we're getting married, we know we're coming from different backgrounds. We finding each other with all the teeth in the mouth. Yeah. So it means whatever they've been doing from their end, whatever they've been doing from your end, it could be different or maybe coincidental, it could be the same, but very rare cases. So learning to understand and giving each other space
Yeah.
to say, okay, if this is me, this is you, what best can we do together to be us?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if you want to be you all the way from the way you're coming from your side, and the other party wants to be her, to be him or her from wherever he's coming from, then it will not work.
Yeah.
Tolerance.
That's true.
So without tolerance, I mean, it could be difficult. We can be saying, sorry if there are some people, maybe they're not believers here, but we could be saying we believers, we Christians, we understand each other. When we get there, that's a lie.
Like Christian marriages don't break up, please.
No, that's a lie. And there's some things that we Christians pretend so much to say we are spiritual people, we don't need to talk about these things. Those are the things that break the marriages.
Denial.
So to me, I always stand on communication as the other key area. If there is no communication in the marriage, it means nothing is gonna work. And if you don't speak out to your partner and you're good at speaking about him or her with the other person, I mean, that's the end.
Yeah.
So communication has to be the key, and there has to be tolerance between you two.
That's true.
If one knows that is short, if the other one knows that is short-tempered, you need to adjust yourself, and the other one needs to know the shortfalls of the other. And if you know your colleague is very bad at a certain thing and you keep on hammering on that one each and every time, I don't think your colleague is going to learn from you better in that way. I mean, you need to find a better way to say, you know what, honey, this area I feel like it's not right. What if we be doing it this way because of A, B, C, D? But if you come with full force, your colleague also wants to show that I am who I am.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, maybe in short I can stop there, but otherwise I think it's a very, very, very wide topic. Very
It
wide
is.
topic. With the little experience that I have had in marriage and the issues that I've been receiving from people, no, I mean it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot.
It is a lot. It is a
And
lot.
it's
Thank
not about being youngsters only.
you.
You find people that have been married 15 years over, but they're still having issues in their marriage.
Every
Some, to me, I was getting issues when I was only I was only 5 years old in marriage, and then I was getting issues from people that have been married for over 20 years.
Oh, you
The
never
issues that they
saw.
were bringing to me, they looked so petty, literally so petty to me. But I mean, these people are quarreling because of this.
I know. Some things sound so silly.
So it's just a matter Mhm, mhm. Just because someone doesn't want to be humble enough,
God help us.
just humble yourself. I remember there was an issue to do with a certain a couple. Um, this one made me because the woman was not working, so it was depending on the husband, which is fine, depending on the husband almost on everything. So whenever the man buys things by himself, say relish, whatnot, the woman normally was complaining to say doesn't buy good quality. Instead of them maybe discussing to say they'll be going to buy together, maybe the wife is in a better position to choose what's best for them. But the man decided it was just to stop because every time the lady says, you didn't buy good things, you didn't buy good things. So the man just stopped buying the things at home.
Is that the best way though?
Then the woman starts complaining, oh, so that stopped buying things at home. I believe he's buying these things and giving them to someone else. Okay, sir, why did you stop? Normally she says I don't buy good things. I mean, okay, so what's the issue here?
Oh goodness.
What's the issue here? I know, because every time I buy, it says these are not good, so I decided just to stop buying them.
Is that the best solution though?
Was it difficult maybe for the man to say, okay, yeah. So was it difficult to say, okay, I think next time let's go buy together? Or was it difficult for the woman to say, okay, you know what I like? If you go to such a shop, try to look for A, B, C, D. All those could work, but not to reach the point that these people stop talking to each other because of the reddish issue.
No.
That's just one of the examples.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tolerance, communication is a key in everything, as I said already.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe as you're saying, it's a learning process, but some of these things, I mean, yeah, we
Yeah.
just need to understand one another. And one thing we should know is we shouldn't expect that being a Christian marriage, I should just add that part, being a Christian marriage will not face challenges. No. Actually, for you Christians, for us Christians, the challenges are huge for us.
Very.
They're very big.
Very, very big, my dear sister. And we're in so much self-denial. Yeah, about a lot of things, you know. Thank you so much. I didn't want to cut whilst you were speaking. However, I need to bring my puzzle. I just looked at the time now. Wow, we're so engrossed, you know, in the discussion, which is very good. And I want to believe that everyone out there, especially on the FI page, are listening and they're learning as well, especially those who are aspiring to get married someday or maybe soon, who knows? And those who are in it already, you know, that's why I always say self-reflect. If you're in a marriage relationship already, all these things we're talking about, we're not just talking for talking's sake. We're talking so you can learn to do better. I can learn to do better so I can enjoy my marriage and not be enduring, you know, putting up with that attitude. I can't say anything. I can't address your attitude or whatever it is. And I'm not talking about any gender in particular, because sometimes you find out that the man is so good, the woman is you know, or the woman is so good, the man is so there's no balance way to it. But you know your marriage, you know. So I'll bring my puzzle now before I start ranting on, because anything marriage, I can talk 34/7, not 24/7 even. So if you're in the box, you can attempt this. Yeah, both ways indeed, whether the man or the woman. I'm telling you, that's true. So my puzzle for today is a funny one, but I hope somebody will get it. So the question is, where is my what is the best way to get a message to God? What is the best way to get a message to God? If you know the answer, please type it in or send an invite. Come into the box and tell us the answer, and you get the ice cream and the donut today. What is the best way to get a message to God? I'm not sure manager is anywhere on TikTok's lane tonight. If you're there, you can help type. I don't want to give you work to do today, Mary. It's your special day. For the fact that you even came in at all, I'm so glad. Thank you. So my puzzle, if you know the
You
answer,
say
type
to get a message to God or to get a message from God?
to God. What is the best way to get a message to God? So I don't know if Mr. Exceptional want to try, or if you want to think about it for a minute or two. Let's see if there's anybody there. See, you said invite, and I tried to bring you guys up, but you're not coming up. So if you know, please, what is the best
I
way
don't know
to
if I
get?
typed it correctly.
Yeah, what is the best way to get a message to God? Thank you so much. So if you know the answer, please feel free. Otherwise, I'll bring it back next week. Mr. Exceptional,
Prayer.
you want to try?
Prayer?
Not the answer I'm looking for. I know it sounds like yeah, it has to be, but there is something to it. What is the best way to get a message to God? I can't even give you a clue because before I finish talking, you'll know. So I'm not going to give us any clue, but that is not the answer. It's a good try. Thank you, thank you. I will laugh at the answer. So, Nice as Faith says meditation. Thank you, but you haven't gotten it right. So if I clap for you, you have gotten it right. So that is not, it's not meditation. Thank you. It's not prayer. What is the best way to get a message to God? So let's ponder on that while we go back to our topic for today, which is marriage a learning institution? I can't begin to tell you the things I've learned. You know, it's one thing learning from my spouse, and for me as a Christian, especially the things that seem so like, what do I do? That I'm lost. I always seek the counsel of the Holy Spirit. You know what? One thing I discovered, not well, recently-ish, kind of, you can put it that way. I think Mr. Exceptional mentioned something in that regard, and it has to do with, thank you for liking the lives, guy. Thank you so much. It has to do with the fact that your spouse was created by a manufacturer, God. He knows how he has created this person. And I have the person, and I'm trying to, put them together. And I'm so trying hard, but I can't seem to put them together. What do? Go back to the manufacturing company. Go back to God, the manufacturer of this product, your spouse, and pray to God to come and remold them so that you can enjoy that relationship. And whilst you're at it, He is your manufacturer as well. Go to God, Father, help me as I'm trying to understand and tolerate my spouse. Let me also be tolerated and be understood and all of that. So if you're praying that prayer for your spouse, pray for yourself as well so that that equation can be balanced. You know, when we're doing our self-reflection is what we need to do to better that relationship, not how do I accuse my spouse so that our relationships can be better, because we're always pointing at, and sometimes I'm guilty of this, I must say. And then it's when I see that we're not getting nowhere, that's when it hits home really for me. And I'm like, you know what, for me, what exactly are you doing that you're not doing properly, that is affecting this relationship, or that is bringing conflict, or that is bringing whatever issues? So I need to be honest with myself and be open to criticisms. It's always good to be open-hearted, because like it was exceptional Mary that said we're not perfect. I don't know, please send an invite if you have to say something, because I have another meeting and I can't stay any longer today. So this is our time to discuss this topic, to break it down. Nicest Faith, I'm going to ask you to come up. Let's hear from you. Twist 509 if you're there. Ayodara, if you're there, please join in. I've invited James Bay. I can't see you. Antoinette, I've invited you before, but I can't seem to see you in the box. I want to hear from us because, like Mary said, the topic is enormous, is vast. There's so many aspects to it, and that's why I try to give the talk, so I put a bit of perspective to it so we can think deep and share deep stuff. Marriage is here to stay. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, TikTok. We've been live for 90 minutes to take a break. Our break is our puzzle. Our puzzle is, what is the best way to get a message to God? I don't know if Ayodara knows the answer or if you just want to contribute to the topic today. Either one is okay by me. And thank you so much for joining. Is this your first time on Insight, Ayodara? I can't hear you. Oh, network. I can see one red bar. Ayodara, are you there? If you can, oh, they dropped. Okay, let's try. If you try and come back again, and see, maybe it will be better. It's just this network. Maybe it's the time of the day. I'm not even sure. I wouldn't know what the issue is. Thank you, Exceptional, for liking the live. Thank you so much. Okay, Nicest Faith says she can't come up at the moment. You can type in what you have to say and I'll read it out if you're able to, so that you're part of this discussion as well. So Nicest Faith, you can type in there and I'll read it out. Thank you so much. Ayodara, if you want to come back up, because the network I can see is a bit poor. I don't know. So our puzzle for today, what is the best way to get a message to God? If you know the answer, please tell us the answer or come up and tell us the answer so you can get the donut and the ice cream. So I don't know, Exceptional, you're allowed to try again. Mary, I think I'll let you try this one if you're still there. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you for liking the live. Twist 509. I don't know what's it with the connection. I'm not sure what the issue is, or maybe you're the one you cannot connect because of where you are. But send an invite so I can bring you up, because I've reached out and it's not working for whatever reason. SMT Fashion, thank you so much for joining in. I don't know if you're just coming in or you're just returning. See, it's gone. The network is a bit poorly. Thank you for joining in. The topic today is marriage a learning institution? And I think so far the contributions is tending towards a particular direction, as in marriage is a learning institution. It is a learning institution. And I remembered earlier I said, for every other institution we go into, education especially, you go into the school, you do some tests, even you spend years in there as well. And until you pass, before they give you a certificate to say, well done. But marriage institution, you go in there and they give you the marriage certificate, well done, you've passed, and now go into the school of marriage. And then you learn all sorts. And then, oh my goodness, boy, have I learned a lot in the last 25 years. My goodness. Sometimes I do imagine in my mind, if I was still single all these years, would I have learned so much? I don't think so. I'm telling you, I do not think so. Mama J, thanks for joining. Send an invite. Let's hear from you today. The topic is marriage a learning institution? I want to hear your take on this. I want to hear what you think about this topic. Is marriage a learning institution? And if you think it is, and you're in a marriage relationship, what have you learned so far? Tell us one or two things you have learned so we can also learn from you. Your experience, can be the key to one thing I've been, thinking about, pondering on. How do I tackle this? How do I do that? You know, we never stop learning. We have to keep learning. We have to keep processing things. We have to keep self-reflecting in that relationship. We have to keep being tolerant of our spouses. We have to keep understanding, compromising. And one thing that we need to give each other is unconditional love. I've heard of some cases, my goodness, my ears. Ugh, I've heard a lot of cases where the one of the spouse, I'm not going to say whether it's the man or the woman, say some funny things. You know, I remembered one time many years back, we were going back home after church service. And then my phone kept ringing, my husband's phone kept ringing. And then we picked up and we're like, we barely just finished service like an hour because we had to stay back, you know, and do one or two things. And our phones were just ringing, and it was this couple we know, and they're like shouting, both of them shouting. My husband picked the husband, I picked the wife, both of them shouting, da da da. I'm like, what is going on? Calm down. I think they were newlyweds, maybe 3 months or so into their wedding. And we had to turn back. We had to go to their house because God knows what was happening. And then on getting to the house, guys, I don't know whether to tell you what the issue was. Mary said something, there's some things that sound silly, but you can see the enormity of the fight they were going through. And then we got there. Oh my goodness, it was so bad that I think they were throwing things at each other, and one was ducking. So we found out two different point in their home. And then we said, okay, calm down, settle down. What is the problem? And oh my goodness, I don't know whether to say this, Mr. Exceptional, you might have to block your ears. And one of them said they just wanted to have a nap, and then they were under the duvet, and one of them farted, and they fluffed it on their nose, and it was like, why did you fluff the fart on my nose? There was a statement said, is that, it sounds funny, I don't know whether to say it, say, is that how your mom will fluff farts in your dad's face? But for the fact that they mentioned mom and dad of each other, oh, hell was broken loose. They started shouting, why do you have to bring my mother? Why do you have to bring my father? I'm telling you. And that was what we were supposed to go home and rest. Yeah, Mr. Exceptional, we're supposed to go home and rest. And look at, we couldn't laugh, or we could not laugh. We looked at each other and like, okay, this situation did not warrant you abusing each other's parents, you know? And we had to sit them down. Do you know, after much talk from my husband and myself, this couple started laughing. They just started laughing. And I'm like, look at, and that is after how many hours we were there talking and trying to calm them. And you can imagine if they are picked, we were not able to call or go there, I don't know what would have happened that day. And I tell you how many years, over 20 years, they're still together. So what am I trying to say? A lot of issues will come. You know, don't let your anger get a hold of you. I know we can get angry, but what do you do when you're angry? Don't say things, because they say words are like eggs. Once you've said it out, it's broken. You can't pick them up back together again. Yeah, even me, if I was more than my imagination. It was when me and my husband got home, we're like, God help us. All these little and silly things that can actually break up a marriage relationship. You'll be amazed at some things. Sometimes I wonder, those people who go through divorce and it's not domestic violence or domestic abuse, some will say irreconcilable differences or whatever. I'm like, what on earth is that grammar? I don't understand. What is that differences that you cannot reconcile? You two are together, though you're different human being. What is it that you cannot compromise, that you have to go your separate ways? I don't understand. Because you will try to look for love again, and this person you fall in love with again, so to say, you don't know what they will bring and say, we're not compatible, whatever. Why not just stay in this and learn to manage it? How many people do you want to marry, leave like that? And at the end of the day, say, oh, this is my fourth marriage. And you don't think there's something wrong with you. We need to be truthful with ourselves. We need to check ourselves. Sometimes it's not even our spouses, it's us. But we don't want to go there because even, I mean, as a counselor, you find out you find out that if you don't start the couples counseling together, maybe you had to counsel the wife first or the husband first. All the things they'll be telling you is to favor them. I'm telling you, is to favor them. But I know well to say, if your wife or your husband were to be here and they will respond to all these things you have said to me, I bet it will be a different ball game. Everybody will paint themselves to be a saint, to be good. I know. Guys, please send an invite. Let's hear from you today. What's your take on this topic? I really, really want to hear from everyone. Because otherwise I can talk till tomorrow, I'm telling you. So it's funny the way silly things can break up a marriage. This person will paint themselves good, and I've had situations where that has happened many times. And then when the spouse comes in, I will be hearing a different story. And I'm like, oh, I'm not here to support anyone. But if you want that conflict resolved, you have to be honest. You have to be truthful. We cannot hide and put things under. For the fact that I don't live with you as a counselor doesn't mean you should come and lie to me, because I can only give you recommendations or strategies to coping with whatever you've said to me. I mean, it's so rare that a person will come and say, you know what, I'm in a marriage relationship. I'm the problem. I need help. It's never usually that way. It's always my spouse this, my spouse that. They might be right, don't get me wrong, but it's usually that. So it's when you start probing, because there are some things that'll be obvious, when you probe, they will always have an answer. So it's always best, when you get help together. So that way you can iron things out straight away. Because when you go and your spouse goes for counseling, you go the other way. And then when you come back or come at different times, the story has changed and all of that. So even when you want to get help to help in your marriage relationship, get help together is always good. There and there, shout it out, resolve it, shout it out and resolve it, and go home to a peaceful home. Thank you so much. Mr. Exceptional said solutions can only be provided based on the information you give. So being sincere is key. Absolutely. Absolutely. We need to be open and honest, and who best know you? Your spouse. Even if you've lived together for only 2, 3 years or whatever, the early stage, of that marriage relationship. They know you. They know you because 24/7 you've been living together. They know all your attitudes, your habits, your perspective about things, the values you hold, the principles of life you hold, and things like that. Some values you might not see eye to eye. That should not cause a breakage between the two of you. We have to learn to tolerate. We need to learn to have this big heart to accommodate our spouses. They didn't grow up in the same house he grew up. I
And
don't know. You want to say
sorry,
something else, Mr.
yeah,
Exceptional,
I just wanted to
please?
say something. As we were talking, something just came to mind
Please.
again. In blessed memory to my beloved wife. You
God
know,
rest him.
um, in respect to what you're talking about, marriage. Sometimes I it was when this thing happened. You know, I I I started thinking, thoughts started coming to my mind, and I was missing every moment I had with her. You know,
Wow.
most especially, this will be funny, but it's the truth. I
Okay.
miss the times that we had misunderstanding
Oh, why is
in a
that?
positive way. Now,
Okay.
why is that? That's a nice question. You know, even though we're having misunderstanding is not a good thing, but it's a way to learn also. So
Yeah.
I said that to say, because why was I missing it? Because if we had misunderstanding, I know I just have it in my I know my wife is there. I can still go and talk to her. I don't know if you understand me.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
still go and talk to her. I can still go and meet her. But she's no more now. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that in every aspect of marriage, just enjoy it. The misunderstanding time,
Yeah.
the cool time,
Mm-hmm.
the playful times,
Mm-hmm.
the fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy it
Everything.
all.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is even fun in the misunderstanding. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about it going to the extent of being violent. No. I'm talking about those times you like, no, you're
Definitely.
not supposed to do it this way. No, I said it's this way we're going to do it. No, do you understand? Those
Mm-hmm.
times of having those um, because we say we disagree to agree,
Oh yes.
we disagree to agree. So you would definitely you definitely miss those times,
Mm.
and you miss that's the reason why you miss every single time, because this is somebody you are sharing the
Ev-
same space with. You
everything
get,
with.
you're sharing the same space with this person. So the naughty part of the person, you will miss it. And the
Mm-hmm.
good part of the person, you will also miss it. So
Mm-hmm.
I was it sounds well to me, just the way you were saying, misunderstanding, what do you mean? But that was how it came to me, and it made sense to me. And I believe that was the Spirit of God talking to me as at that time. The Spirit of God was saying, you see, that time when, of course, once I'm somebody that if I had a misunderstanding with my wife, I can't raise my hand to beat my wife. Definitely. I just walk away. If it's something I know that I don't want to
If
exchange
only
words with her,
everybody can
I just
say
walk
that.
away to calm myself. Then when I come back, we're good. So you would definitely. But what am I trying to say?
Mm.
It don't let's not get to that point where
Point, yeah.
you begin to miss every part of that partner of yours, because you will get there. You
Yeah.
definitely get there, because this somebody you have shared the same feeling, the same
Mm-hmm.
emotion
Mm-hmm.
with. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
sleep in the same bed, do everything together. My wife, she was my gisting mate, she was my gossip mate.
Oh.
We gossip about things, maybe from church. You saw that sister, the way that sister did that thing. She will bring it up, and so it's fun. It's upper, it's fun. It's fun. Otherwise, it will be boring. So
Mm-hmm.
because when we talk about communication is not just all about sweetheart, I let's talk about why did you cook the food this way? Why did you keep the rice this way? Or why did you drop the table this way? Or why did you set the dining this way? It's not only about that. Communication also means you gisting together.
Yeah.
You know, my beloved wife, she always have every day. She asks me, she will say there's something she likes. She likes movie time. So she says,
Oh.
she said, babe, can we have movie time? So sometimes I decline. So when this happened, the thoughts were just going through my mind. I was like, I wish I knew, I would have never rejected any of our offer. I would have, yes, I didn't reject it because I didn't want to. Maybe at that time I didn't have enough data, or maybe I was not in the right frame of mind at that time. But if I knew that such a thing would have happened, even though we don't wish for such a thing to happen,
No.
every second and every demand of hers, I would have given to it, knowing fully well that this is somebody that, you know, is here now with you at this period of time. So what was I trying to, the point I was trying to bring, we must try to enjoy every bit
Of the
of
marriage.
time and every bit of thing that we engage ourselves with our partner, whether be it the period of misunderstanding, whether be in the period of you gisting and talking and sharing ideas together, you will get to a point where you will miss all of it. For instance, if I had traveled, maybe I had traveled out of the country, you know, away from home for 3 months, I'm sure I would have that same this same feeling.
Yeah.
oh, I'm missing my wife having misunderstanding with me sometimes, I would have had that feeling also, or
Mm.
having the feeling that I miss the moment
Yeah.
I spent with her. So I was just trying to bring that to say that let's try to um, let go every weight
Yeah.
and enjoy every minute, every
Mm.
second, every
Mm.
hour, every day, and
Aw.
every year with our spouse. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Exceptional, may her soul rest in peace. And I really appreciate the fact that you're here to share, meaning you hold marriage in high esteem and you want others listening out there to know the beautiful part of marriage. And I love it when people come and share the beautiful part of marriage, not just the negatives all the time. Let's help change that narrative a bit so that our younger ones coming into marriage will not be scared away. Marriage is beautiful when we do what we're supposed to do. And you can, guys, we can hear Mr. Exceptional, and my heart really goes out to him right now. All those things you will miss about one another. And the truth is, I've heard of couples who are officially divorced, and years later they'll be talking to you and they say, ah, my ex did this. They keep going, my ex, my ex. I'm like, it sounds to me like this person is still in love with their ex. So why did you guys break up in the first place? And you just find out that sometimes when you ask them why they broke up, they can't even say anything solid, nothing tangible. Why do we allow things to go that bad? Maybe at the that heated moment, you're so angry. The only thing is divorce. You can't even think of any way out. God will help us really. Let's enjoy the good, the bad, the ugly, every aspect of it. I talked about the early stage of marriage, the middle stage of marriage, and the later stage of marriage when people start retiring. Now you have grandchildren, everybody's away from home, just you and your spouse. And if you haven't enjoyed and built a solid early years, middle years, you just find out that you're living with a stranger. You'll be looking at each other like strangers, like more like roommates. So our question here today, I see my cousin is here, Okon Lafola, thanks for joining. Our topic for today is marriage a learning institution? And if you think marriage is a learning institution, there are so many things everybody has learned so far in their marriages, but is there any one or two things you want to share with us that it was in marriage you learned this, it was in marriage you learned that? Or if you have any other submission, please feel free. So, my cause, it's been a while. How are you? You're welcome to Insight with FunmiRoyal.
Yeah, good evening, my dear sister, my great cousin. You're doing really, really well.
Thank you so much for joining in. How are you?
Yeah, you're welcome. I greet Mr. Exceptional Moses. You're wonderful. I love the analysis, quite beautiful and quite inspiring, I must say.
Thank you, sir. Good
Yeah,
evening, sir. Nice to have you here,
good
sir.
evening, my dear. Yeah, you see, life itself is institution of learning and growing.
Mm,
Talk less of marriage.
mm,
Definitely, the both spouse were not born the same place, were not raised by the same set of people,
oh,
probably not living in the same environment, probably not from the same tribe, culture, and a whole lot of
mhm,
things coming together to really become one is a whole lot, which will require a series of learning, understanding,
mm,
accepting some,
mm.
agreeing with some, and rejecting some. That is that is how it works.
Yeah.
Because in reality, we talked about the differences most of the time, and some most of the time
Mm,
it is more like the negative part of the marriage is more conspicuous, most especially online, than the beautiful parts.
yeah.
That was why I made a video sometimes about marriage maintenance.
Mm.
Yeah, Because this thing, we are wired differently. This is not about you are good, you are not good, you are beautiful, you are not beautiful. All those value we were talking about when we want to come together, we will push them aside
Yeah.
when reality set in.
Mm.
I will have to learn certain things about you, probably I don't take in the past. Now I have to take it because this is who you are.
Yeah.
There are some stuffs I cannot change from. Like you being a woman, you're like, okay, this is my husband. Let me just leave him as it is. Because I keep telling people can only adjust.
Yeah.
People cannot change.
You're welcome.
So people can only adjust in the sense that when you complain about certain things, you look at the limits that spouse can adjust, and then we live like that, and then we enjoy the beautiful moment all together. But the problem is some people, maybe they have differences in their, or I mean issues in their upbringing and everything.
Yeah.
So that is why I stress more on who do you really want to choose, because it's marriage is not 5 years program. It's not yet, it's not 10 years program, but it is lifetime program. So who you want to go into that journey with, you
Matters.
have to super check him or her.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it will get to a time, it will get to a point where you feel like, ah, we are like hitting the wall. So the reality of that love you started with will keep you guys going.
Yes. If it was
Yeah,
genuine.
we keep you. Yeah, it will keep you going. Because I do say it like, for me and my wife, thank God we've been together, if you calculate the dating and everything, almost 30 years now. and and it is not as if we don't have issues, but we prioritize peace over argument.
Yeah.
Obviously we have disagreement.
Of course.
Everybody knows his or her position in the relationship. When
Mm-hmm.
there is an agreement, because I took out like 5 to 7 years to teach my wife this thing about me. I said, when I insist on something, do not rebel at that point in time. We can still discuss it later.
Mm.
Because the ego in us as a man could
Man.
really trigger a whole lot of problem. So when you say, this is what I want to do, leave it, leave
Mm.
it. I don't want to listen that time. My sense of listening is not working at that point in time. We
Mm.
might wait later in the evening, we talked about it, and I might just seamlessly agree to what you were putting up for me, because we need to have this behind our mind that we are coming into this marriage. The first thing we are going to kill is separation.
Yeah.
So we are coming, oh,
Mm.
anything called divorce, anything called separation is out of the way, is out of the option. So no matter what we drag, we do, so we put that out of the way first.
Yeah.
So that will make us see more of positivity in our relationship than negativity.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, you don't go into relationship with any mindset of competition. You are not competing.
Yes.
You are not competing. If that kind of mentality is running in you, do everything within your capacity to delete that fire.
They're supposed to
You are not competing.
complement
Yes.
one another.
So you are not competing, because the truth is, you might have children, you build things together. Even you being a man, because women, we have our egos and what have you. You cannot be the father and be the mother. Mm-mm. The woman will be the mother. So, and I always tell people, if your marriage break, most of the time, you being a man, you're at fault. You're at fault because you chose that woman. You decide, probably you have 2 3 4 girls hanging on you, and then you decide to choose that one. So when you choose, you need to respect your choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's your choice at this point. So these are all facts we really need to look. And when we have this cohesion, we have this understanding, it is a lot easier for us to grow. We grow as family, we grow as couple, and we maintain strong bond between the wife and the husband. But the mistake I see in the world today is that so many people are living together as partner because of their children. And the moment the children grows old and go their separate ways, the marriage start having cracks here and there because they are not connected before. So that's why I tell people, like even people traveling to the West, people like in UK, US, whatever it is, and when they travel with their wife and they have a whole lot of problem, I tell them you didn't marry right, even from wherever you are coming from.
Possibility, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, you did not marry right. When you marry right, then when you come into the system, both of you will see the system, and both of you will be thinking about your success in that system.
Yeah.
Because the question is, most of the people blame the system, the women do this, but there are some other people living in the same system, like you, for example,
Are
for over
thriving.
20 years.
Ah.
And the marriage is intact, the family is beautiful, God is blessing, God blesses is flying left and right and center, not because you guys are magicians. It is just because
Yeah.
both of you are functioning in the right proportion in that relationship. So that is what I keep telling people. I don't know what blessings of God in your life, but if marriage is not one of those, my dear brothers and sisters, you have a whole lot more to pray for, to work for. Because I have not seen any successful man in this world without marriage. No singular successful man in the. You can tell me he's divorced. Don't worry, he was once married.
At least he's gone through it.
because when I said it, a whole lot of people came to me like, what about Bill Gates? What about Jeff Bezos, Dangote? I told them they were once married. Yeah, they were once married. No successful man in the world
I see
without
exceptional is
marriage.
taking notes. It's
Yeah,
true.
that is one thing we need to know. Because you think about it, is it possible for anybody to become a country president or governor of state or province without marriage? Let's have one. You can never become a king without having been married. You cannot head the church without being married. Why are all these in place?
I've
But
never looked at it that critically, but that's true.
yeah, but the problem we have, most especially majority of our young ones, they don't read Bible, they don't read Quran, they read social media. They consume everything here, and they don't know that majority of the people that are displaying, talking about relationships, majority of them are not in relationship themselves.
Yeah.
So how possibly will you be able to see the beauty of what you are not in? Yeah.
That's true.
Moses said I'm funny. You understand? How would you see the beauty of what you are not enjoying?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that is why you see them, they talk more. They talk more about the negativity because they are not enjoying it. They only had the experience of the breakups they've had in their numerous relationships. And that is the only experience they've got. You will see men are this, men has come, men has come. As we all agree, men has come. We agree, we don't argue. But when it comes to DNA test, we have issues to deal with. So
Wow.
we are all at fault. We are all good. everybody are at fault and everybody are good depending on you. Who are you? That is the question. What and what are the build up you have in you? Because that is what you have and that is what you can give.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can't give what you don't have.
It's hard. It's very
So, so I keep telling our younger generations, let us not concentrate more on material things, money. Don't let us respect it more than the marriage.
no.
I keep telling people, career, like majority of our young girls, this is precisely for our young girls. They go around, I want to focus on my career before marriage. My dear sister, you can, career is unending. Career is unending. But marriage has its own time frame. If you miss the time frame, you will make millions and billions, and yet no man want to sign up. Go into the world now, see majority of our beautiful ladies. It's a pathetic situation to me. I feel very bad for this lady. Even I have a video I want to compose, a responsive video for a lady asking question if if being financially stable as a woman is not attractive to men. I want to, yeah,
I
because
think
you
a research has to be conducted. And
obviously I've been that's what I've been doing since morning.
oh, okay.
So I've written the video already. So you look at it. All these girls, they have a whole lot of deep regret in them now because they chase what they need to chase second. They chase it first. And yeah, okay, let's bring the practical example. You be my cousin, you don't have million where you
Sorry to cut you. I was just thinking of me as well because I nearly made that mistake when I was much younger, thinking of marriage. I said, no, I'll build career. But it was just the way God orchestrated it. And guess what? The particular career that I've always had in mind, I didn't
yeah.
start building it until I was in my 40s. And now my boys are grown and all that. And now, in fact, the sky is not even the beginning for me to pursue this
you
career.
you understand, you can see that is why I said chasing career is unending.
So,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so sir, if I may bring, there are some, I'm so much enjoying and learning a lot from what you're saying, sir. Thank you
You're
so much
welcome.
for those words. But I
You,
just wanted to chip in this because these are some of the questions and thoughts which is making some of the youth, most especially the female gender, to say that they want to pursue their career. Now they give this scenario of or experience or what maybe in their in their home or from their friends that when the lady got married to the man prevented her from furthering her education, um, going further to do establish her career. Um, I believe you understand what the question
I
I'm,
do, I
I'm
do.
bringing
I,
up,
I
sir.
just want you to round
Okay,
it up.
so that's I think that is the reason why they say I want to build my career, I want to be this and this and this, so that no man will tell me that um, I don't need to go to school again. Once you get married, yeah,
I'm
you
a
have to take care of the
liability.
children and take care of the home.
That is the word you
Thank you,
want to
sir.
use.
So
Yes, you see
Yes,
this.
I want
yes.
you to answer that so that we can round up with that. I'm
Uh, uh,
overshooting right now, but it's fine because it's very crucial what we're discussing, and I'll be rounding up very soon. Thank you.
okay. You see, you present this question to let me give you my video before I do it and anyway, I'm still gonna give you.
No, no, it's fine. Exceptional. It's okay.
No. I'm talking to Moses anyway.
Oh,
You
okay.
see, there are two type of value in women. There are value for personality. There are values for attraction.
I see you.
You understand? But women concentrate more on value for personality than the value for attraction. No matter what qualification a woman have, BSc, MSc, doctorate, whatever, is value for personality. That's her personality. If she is making tons of money, million, billion, whatever, is value for personality. If she is doing whatever career and is going on well, is value for personality, because women have presented it to us over times that my money is my money and the husband's money is our money, and men are learning from that. This is true. This is the sad reality we are talking about. But you see, the value for attraction is being young, being fertile, being submissive. That is what attracts men. You can check men from the age of 30 to 60. They always love younger women. They always love to have younger women. Sometimes men can spend their fortune on younger women. And meanwhile, ladies in their 30s making good money around them, they tend not to see them.
I
You
see.
understand? Because being young is of higher priority to men than being rich. That I know it's quite awkward. It's
But they will
quite
not
awkward to.
forever. But they will not be forever
It's quite
young, though. They are
awkward
going
and
to grow
it's quite
old
No,
too.
no. You see,
dicey.
let me demystify it. This
Okay,
is that
please.
when a man get married to you at 24, 25, whatever, you got married, and you see, even when you grow older, men don't see the older picture of their wife. They see the first day picture till the point of death.
Okay.
That is what we see. We see the first day picture. That is why you see some men at 70 still holding the old woman, claiming this is my wife, and you feel like, look at these people, they are old. To you, the woman is old, but to the man, he's seeing the first day picture in in his mind. You understand? You are the one seeing today's picture. Men don't see it. They see the first day picture. That
I
is
was
why,
speaking from you because you're a man, so you're speaking from a man's perspective. Okay.
yeah. So in that regard, that is why you see, when you got married, and if women have pressure within the age of 20 and 30, you have to think about your marriage and think about your career. You can push the two together, but make sure you get your marriage. And after you settle down, like the first 10 years of your marriage, you are going to be very busy giving birth to children and all sort of. When you are done, you have the whole world before you. Go there and conquer. The men are not going to seriously be tracking you, and you can make whatever tons of money without a kind of eyebrow raising in any form. So that is what majority of our women lack, because majority of our young girls now, they for whatever reason, they don't majority of them don't have the presence of their father in their life, and the men too, to tell them those statements the father tells the children behind a closed door. You can't get those statements online.
True.
So when your mother closed the door and say let's talk, you can't
Yes.
google that. Google doesn't have it.
No.
So, and those are the words that will impact your life till the point of death. Many people lack all these things. That is why when they come, they think about money before marriage, they go for career, and by the time they become successful in career, they
It's
might be
over.
like 33, 34, 35, older women. And when you are within 33 and 35, you are now making good money. You need a man now. You add 5 to that, that is 38 to 40. Majority of the men at 40 are fathers already. They are
Already.
married long time ago. You know, women with their sense of validation, they say, and men are intimidated because I am making so much money, everything is going on for me. My dear sister, it's going on. We saw it. But even where those play, I mean, in that industry where you make the money, some men are there seeing you, yet going for another lady. Why don't you ask this big question? Why are men not seeing me? What is the preference of men? So except these ladies are fortunate probably to become a second wife, to get a widower. You know, these are bitter facts. To get a widower and a whole lot. So it's really pathetic. That is why I keep telling ladies, you don't make the same mistakes over and over and expect different results.
Yeah, that's
May
true.
God bless our marriage. May God bless our efforts. Thank you very much, my dear sister.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wow. Thank you so much, sir.
In
You're
fact, Mr.
welcome, my dear
Exception, I'm
brother.
going to recommend Okon's page to you. Please follow him. Follow him, you will learn a lot. You know, he's decided to leave
Yes, I'm
women
already
in
following him.
place. Yeah. Oh, you are following him. Are
I'm
you
following him
following?
now.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. You will learn a lot. Go on his page and see all the videos. And that's why I say, I'm here. Let's change the narrative of marriage, especially the negative narrative out there. There's so many beautiful aspects to marriage, but you don't see those kind of videos out there. So he's particular about, spreading, especially from the man's perspective and all that. Initially, I remember the early days when it started, women were complaining, who is this man? He's dog. Even me, I was like, wait, so let me listen or watch this video. What is he saying? But later, when I watch and watch, I try to see the perspective to which he was bringing to it. And trust me, men, in fact, when he starts his live, sometimes I have to be begging people that please let him go and sleep. Please, he cannot answer all your questions tonight. So thank you so much for coming on Inside. I really, Okostock, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for your submissions, and I bet everyone have learned from it. Thank you, Mr. Exceptional, for
You're
sharing
welcome.
your true story or your true submission as well.
Thank
So
you,
we
man.
have learned from that. Thank you so much. And to everyone who's typed in, chipped in, who's loved the live, shared the live. Thank you guys so much. I know our time is really fast spent. You can imagine. I know we're doing something positive. That's why I can always extend the time a little bit. If not that I have another meeting shortly, I will just stay here till, when we can. At least I haven't reached my goal. So, but then it's okay. Thank you all so much for sharing. Thank you for helping us to learn. Is marriage a learning institution? Of course, it is a learning institution. We learn all sort of things you will not learn in the professional world. We learn in the marriage. Things where you will not learn in that career, we learn them in the marriage, and we're all the better for it. We can take that and even go and prosper in our careers, in our professions, and what have you. So, guys, thank you for sharing. Until I come your way on Monday, by the grace of God, where we have another topic we'll be treating, but not marriage related. I remain yours truly, FunmiRoyal, and I'll see you on Monday. Do enjoy the weekend and be good. Tell your spouse you love them. If there's anything you guys have been tackling, just sit down and talk about things openly and honestly, and let it come from the place of love. Let us love one another, tolerate one another, compromise with your spouse, because you can't always have your way. So learn to compromise here and there so that there will be peace in our homes. Guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night rest. Thank you.
Hope and make you feel
Bye.
alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future.
Thank you all so much. Mr. Exceptional, thank you. Okonla, thank you.
Let this light that's within me shine to the whole world. Whole world.
Thank you guys. Oh, well, you're just joining. All the same, I'll see you on Monday, 6 p.m. UK time live here on TikTok. Good night.